Today on my channel, Planner Friends, I'm going to talk about journaling. I have a series. This is the third in the series, The Joys of Journaling. And today I'm going to talk about how your personality, emotional intelligence, and your learning, multiple intelligence of learning influences how you journal. No, really, it does. So we're going to geek out a little bit, but bear with me. This will make sense. Stay tuned. Hello, planner friends, and welcome to my channel. I am One Crafty Dolo, and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Thank you for taking the time and spending it with me. I know your time is one of your most valuable assets, and I appreciate you being here. If you're new, you're welcome to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you're notified when my videos are uploaded. I generally try to stick to the schedule of Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So let's get started. This is number 3, the third video in my series, The Joys of Journaling. So I'm going to talk a little bit today. We're pivoting. The first 2 videos were about the mental and physical benefits to journaling. Today, I'm going to start to slowly delve into the how-to. Now, to be fair, I've been writing and researching, so I have all kinds of notes here. And yeah, this series will continue because I'm trying to be a little bit more thorough and comprehensive. Very briefly, if you're new, I picked up this Depression Weeks Planner. It's a weeks planner that I started in September. So I kind of did a reboot of some of my planners in September, and this is a week's vertical. And what I've done is I've used a lot of Simply Gilded, not Simply Gilded. I've done some, you can see here, some stenciling and some stamping. I've done all kinds of decorating, starting with my 30 Days of Gratitude project for November. I started to decorate these two pages and to demarcate where, the new month begins. What I started to do in January is I added, and if I'm adding quotes in, I write where they're from. And so, yeah, here is Rachel Carson, and here we go. So we're going to head into May, and as I'm talking to you about journaling, I'm going to set up a little bit of journaling for the May to give my hands something to do here. I've gone through a bunch of my old Simply Gilded, some of my stash here. So I'm going to see how I create and what I do. So first off, I want to talk how I approach journaling and how I've been consistent in it and what I'm doing now. As you can see, today is Wednesday, so I'm filming the day of, which is fine. I don't always do that, but what I want to share with you are some of the things I've learned as we go along about journaling. So this Monday is kind of smushed here, so I'm just going to start with, Sunday and work my way backwards. Okay. So how to stay consistent in journaling and how to journal in a way that's going to work for you. That is the question today. If you're like me, you've spent time where you pick up a journal, write a little, put it down. Don't pick it up, maybe pick it up again and back and forth and back and forth. You might get a super cute notebook that you saw on sale, right? You might get some nice pens. And then the next thing you know, you've stopped and you're frustrated with yourself and you kind of get down about it and you're like, ugh, I'm not sticking to this. Why can't I do this? Etc., etc., etc. What I have learned is we just have to change how you do it because you will stick to it. But it's a matter of working with your personality and your learning style, believe it or not, to make it work. So let me explain some of what I'm talking about. Please note that I am an educator. I was a professor. And so some of this stuff that I'm talking about is from that and from teaching. And truthfully, it was not until I put together some of what I've learned in teaching with applying it to my creative side that I was able to finally stick with this and stick with like Bible journaling, all of it. I've really turned a corner, as it were. So I am happy to share some of my tidbits with you. Okay, let me make sure I'm getting this right. Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, wait. I got this wrong, but that's okay. I have to play with it. But you know what? I'm going to leave it for this week. We're not even going to worry about it. Anyway, usually I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. Okay, so let's talk about journaling. Now, two things I want to talk about. We think about writing as the only way to journal. Writing is the conventional approach, and that may work for you. Let's be honest. It may be your best bet. We don't know. What I do know is that there are several ways to journal, and in the next few videos, that's what I'm going to talk about. And no, I can't leave this. I got to pull these up and try this again. Okay, see, can I do two things at once? That is the question. So first off, let's start with your learning style and how it applies to something like journaling. You may think, and I see this all the time in the comments, I thought I had to do this. I never stick with that, whether it's faith, planning and Bible journaling, or just regular journaling. People think it needs to be done a particular way. And then when they don't succeed at it, you take it as it's you. You don't follow through, or you don't finish things, or whatever you may think. Well, I would argue differently. I would say the way to finish it and to continue to do something, work with your brain. I know it sounds strange, but bear with me. I'm going to draw your attention to three different things in this video that I would like you to read. I'm kind of giving you homework, aren't I? So I want you to read, and I want you to try to understand how they apply to you, because once you unlock your learning style and how you process information, it's in doing that you will learn how to be successful with the brain that you were given. Think about that one for a minute while I try to make this straight. Okay, so I'm going to put a link. Let me try this again. Okay, I fixed it. I had to do that. Now, I want to talk to you about theories of intelligence and so forth. So let's start with your personality. There are different personality quizzes. I'm going to drop the 16 personalities quiz link down below. And I want you to start there and see. You may know you're an introvert. You may know you're an extrovert. But what does that mean in terms of your journaling? Guess what? It means a lot. Because if you're an introvert, or you're nervous, or you have certain traits, you're going to be hesitant to commit to writing down certain things. I know that sounds strange, but it's true. You're going to look at yourself and say, wait a minute, can I do this? Should I do this? And you're going to put a lot of pressure on yourself. Trust me, I speak from experience. So the question becomes, how do we work with your personality? So I'm going to put that down below, but whether you're an extrovert, introvert, somewhere in between, I think it's good to start there, because from there, we're going to go to your learning style. Now, having taught, I believe in something called multiple intelligence theory. What does that mean? It means some of us learn by reading. Some of us learn best by listening. Some people are visual learners. They learn. This is the opposite of me, but are you one of the people who can watch a movie and then remember everything that happened in it? Guess what? You could be a visual learner. There's a theory of multiple intelligence that really talks about, and I don't mean to geek out on you here, but this is important stuff. If you learn by doing things, then sitting in a lecture is nails on chalkboard for you. If you're an introvert, having to participate in class is hard for you. Okay? And so when it comes to something simple like journaling, the way you do things matters. So hear me out. If you do not learn by reading and writing, then how can we get you to succeed if you think journaling has to be your writing? Right? Can you absorb that for a minute? If you are convinced that there's one way to do this process and that's the only way, then it's not going to be easy for you. and you will likely stop. Do you hear what I'm saying? Isn't that something to think about? So I'm going to link some stuff on multiple intelligence theory, but I want you to understand something. I learn by reading. I like writing. However, it turns out to keep me motivated, this creative part of this, which I never would have thought, never, ever, ever would I have thought that being creative in this space is partially what keeps me accountable and keeps me going. So when you're thinking about how you learn and the ways you process your information, whether you're introverted, whether you're extroverted, whether you need time, extra time to process, does not mean you're deficient in any type of intelligence. Let's get that out there. It just means you need more time. That's fine. But what and how you're doing your journaling, how you curate it, how you write, how you approach this, you don't have to be conventional, is what I'm trying to say. Now, so there's the personality quiz, there's multiple intelligence, then there's something called EQ, also known as emotional intelligence, self-awareness, social awareness, empathy. If you are a highly empathetic person, if you're highly sensitive, if you get nervous, if you think, you have to do things just the right way, guess what? That also impacts your journaling. Okay. And it took me a while to figure this out, but this is true. If you sit there and say, okay, I am empathetic, and if I go through a tough time and I record that tough time in some way, how is that going to impact my ability to want to do this? Does that make sense to you? I hope it does, because for me, understanding this was like light bulbs going off, right? We think journaling is writing. We have to take a conventional approach. You do not have to be conventional, because your brain and my brain are not the same. And what's going to work for me isn't going to work for you. I show you my way. That doesn't mean you have to do it my way. There's what we think and believe what journaling is versus what we can make of it. We make it what we want. So, and it took me a while to decipher this, friends. A big part of why I decorate all this is because that helps give me the incentive to write. This decorating process that I often share with you is a way of holding myself accountable. I'm accountable because I put time and energy into this before I even sit down and write anything. Think about that. I'm trying to work with multiple intelligences within myself. And I understand that sometimes, guess what? I'm tired. I can't write. And I will come back to this, but this idea of the quote journal, that's where that was born from, right? Because I like to read. I like to learn. Well, gee whiz. What am I learning then? How am I learning? Actually, I think I'm going to cover this one. I don't like the way that box, actually this one I should cover. I don't like the way it came out, so let's just hide it. Whoops. So what I'm telling you is that the joy of journaling is I want you to get to a place where you so well understand your learning style, how you approach things, and instead of looking at it through a negative lens, I don't finish things, I've tried, I never succeed, I want you to flip the record, and what I want you to say is, wait a minute, I was just doing it in a way that didn't correspond with how my brain works. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you, because it's almost counterintuitive to the way things are often taught, but slowly the needle is moving and people are understanding that There's more than just test scores and so forth. And this idea to reach students can be multifaceted, and we can do it in all kinds of different ways. Oh, that's the good stuff to me. That is really, really the good stuff. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to create this video. So today, we're going to get you started. And sorry, I know this is kind of weird. I'm giving you homework, right? But I want you to take a little bit of time. I know your time is precious. Believe me, gotcha. But I want you to do a little self-assessment, because once we unlock your learning style, how you process information, how you're emotionally, how you're doing in terms of your ability to work with yourself and learning and so forth, something like this, it'll click. And again, it does not have to be writing. That happens to work for me, but there's so many variations that we're going to go over in the next few weeks, from creative journaling and thematic journaling and so forth, that I just want you to understand where I'm coming from here is that, excuse me, you can do this. This isn't a reflection that you can't or you won't or you don't. This is all about how you're going to process the information and how you're going to excel. And it can be journaling today and it can be something else tomorrow, which to me, that's kind of an exciting thing to do. I love teaching. I love education. I love working with students. I love seeing them grow and develop and flourish. And so that's my goal in this series. I want you to change the narrative starting today. I don't want you to say to yourself, I can't, I don't, I never follow through. Wrong. That's totally wrong. You just don't know how to work with your learning style. And once you do, trust me, you will get the things done. It doesn't mean there aren't other reasons, but this will make a difference. So look down below, read, learn, and if you want to comment on things, I will share in the comments. I can share my own experiences with some of these personality tests and so forth, and how I learned to work within myself. I wanted to wait until I was journaling for over 6 months. So now that I'm finishing up the 7th month, and this will be the 8th month, I think I can talk about this with a little bit of authority. And if I can help you see your value and bring the joy and the self-care that this gives me, then that's the good stuff. All right, friends, tune in next week. I'm going to go more into writing, but also things to do within that way of journaling. And again, that is not the only way to journal. So thank you for your time, planner friends, journaling friends. I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.